Well, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are today. Monday, it is time for Market Monday. Blair Nightingale, your host here. We're here every Monday, and I say every Monday. We're here every Monday. We're doing Market Monday, which is to give you an insight what's going on in the market. We're going to take something valuable for you. We normally, and we have been doing this now for some time, we're diving into different aspects of the market itself. Oftentimes, I will pull up a chart and look at the S&P 500. We've talked about that, explain what that is. An index gives us a broad view of the overall stock market, giving us some insight. I am here to help you understand the stock market better, ultimately feel like you understand how to be confident when you're looking at or talking about the stock market. And of course, obviously, as you think about making decisions for your money in the stock market, which gets us to what we're going to talk about today. You've seen the title, Why Now is the Time to Learn to Trade. I'm going to talk about that. But one of the things is that we are going to highlight for you, if you don't know already, if you've been joining us on Market Mondays for a while, then certainly this is something you've been able to see. But there is a tremendous opportunity in the markets right now. I'm going to highlight a lot of what I mean by opportunity today, specifically as it pertains to you at home, because this is for you at home. That's what we do. I can see the comments popping in here. Mario, good evening to you. Nancy, I see you there. Hello to you too. You can always pop in right over here on my screen, wherever it is on your screen. You're joining us on Facebook or YouTube. Go ahead, pop a comment in there. If you have anything that resonates with you today, drop it in the comments. Write it down. Shout it out. I'll pop it up on the screen. You can ask questions that way. You can follow along with us. And if you have anything that you want me to clarify, I'm happy to do that. Of course, you can just say hello. There's Mr. Jeffrey joining us. Howdy, howdy. 37 and sunny. Jeffrey says he shoveled snow today from yesterday's blizzard. 85, maybe 84 degrees outside today in Texas. So we are all over the country tonight. Listen, you took the time to join tonight. You've been on here before, most likely. If you haven't, either way, you took the time tonight to join us, and I'm glad you did. Tonight is going to be really good. Because whether you're trading or not, I am going to give you confidence tonight. I'm going to give you energy tonight for trading and understanding the opportunity that's in the market. I think this is really important because that is what we are about. I say this, I am on here to help you win. If you are on this channel tonight, you are looking for an edge in your finances. You are looking to win. You've defined for yourself, hopefully, what that looks like for you. In fact, I have to say I've learned this lesson, but I'm learning it at an even higher level. You ever learn something and then you didn't learn it completely new, but something took it to another level? Well, right now, defining what I'm going after. If you do any personal development, any coaching of any kind in any area of your life, first thing you're going to have to get is clarity. You have to define what it is that you want. If you're here tonight, you're looking for an edge in your finances. You're looking for practical application. You're looking for information. You're looking for something to upgrade where you are and where you are going. And I am going to give you that tonight. That is the purpose of tonight. Why right now is the time to learn to trade. So one more time, make sure right over here, if you pop a comment in, a question in, say hello. I will make sure to respond to you there. Thank you so much. Nancy says she's out in San Diego. It's all wet today. All wet in San Diego. I'm going to jump right in here. Why you should seriously consider trading. Remember I said I'm going to give you boldness. I'm going to give you some energy tonight, because whether you're trading or you're not trading, this is going to transfer that to you. What I'm going to tell you is going to transfer that to you, because I want you to understand and be encouraged by the opportunity that we have. I know I am, and I want you to have the same thing. Reason number 1, 2, 3. This is what we're going to do tonight. why you should seriously consider trading right now. Why is now a unique time? Now, for many of you out there, I've never met you. You have never met me personally. I don't know all your personal circumstances, but I know that if you are here and you are watching this, whether you're joining us live tonight or it's by the recording, as I already said, you're looking to get that edge. And I know that even though I don't know all your personal circumstances, I know some very unique things that are happening in the world right now. And because of those pieces, I know that this message is going to be powerful for you. And it's going to come in 3 different reasons why you should seriously consider trading right now. Number 1, because trading is the economic opportunity of the season. It is you say, Blair, I barely know anything about trading. I barely even heard anything about trading. I know we got some new students in our Tradeway program. They barely ever even thought of it. But they heard about what happened with GameStop. I did a few episodes on that about a month, maybe 6 weeks, maybe close to 2 months now. I did about GameStop. My point is, you maybe haven't heard a lot about it. Maybe you're just hearing about it. Maybe you just see it on the TV at the airport every now and then, or you hear about it on the radio. But it is the economic opportunity right now. And let me explain what I mean by that. The S&P 500, something I already mentioned, right? S&P 500, Standard & Poor's 500 is an index. It's an index. It gives us a measurement of what is happening across the stock market as a whole. Okay, we've talked about this extensively on here before. And there are 500, which is why we say S&P 500. There are 500 companies in this index. Okay, it's not a company itself that we buy and sell. It's an index that shows us this broad measurement of the market. So we can go, when we say or hear the markets are up or down, most of the time they're talking about the indexes. Why is that important when I say this is the economic opportunity of the season? And let me just frame that for a second. Okay, it may sound oversimplified, but if somebody says, this thing over here that I don't know a lot about, it's the opportunity right now. That's something to take notice of. That's something to take notice of. We definitely want to understand what is behind that statement. And I'm going to tell you right now, the S&P, or the ticker symbol that I put in when I search it on the internet, I put in SPX. So if I say SPX, I'm talking about the S&P 500. The SPX is now, right now, 15%. It's already 15% higher than where it was at the time of the shutdowns. That means that the S&P 500 hit the shutdown last March, dropped farthest, it was the farthest drop of that speed in stock market history, okay? The entire economy shut down, the world shuts down. It drops, recovers back to that level, and then increases beyond that level. It's already up 15%. Today was an all-time high close. It's never closed at the price it closed at today. It's up 45%. 45% from the low of last year. That's after that crash. That means, and I'm not going to get too into this because we've talked about this on a previous episode, that means that there is so much happening in our economy right now to stimulate, to keep things going, to get things going, that the stock market has exploded. It's exploded. In fact, if you've been watching on these Market Mondays and my Stock Talk Thursday, you'll know that I actually think there's a possibility that the stock market is overheating a little bit. We've talked about that in previous weeks. S&P's up 45% from the low in the crash of last year. The Nasdaq, this is another index. It's a very popular index. Okay, you've maybe heard that in the news as well. Tends to be an index that tracks the tech stocks. A lot of big tech companies out there, okay? Tech stocks have exploded as well. That one is up 27% from the pre-COVID crash, okay? And it recovered all its losses by early summer last year. March, April, May, early June, it had recovered all of those losses already, and it's now up 51%. Think about that for a second. The stock market has a crash, okay? It's up 27 from pre-crash. That's still almost 30%. But from the crash itself, 51% increase. Stocks have gone up 51%. Now, theoretically, if you and I were in the stocks or were in that index, some kind of a mutual fund or an ETF or something that was tied to that index, it'd be up 51% from the low. And I can tell you right now that at Tradeway, we were working one-on-one with students, helping those who were already in navigate the crash and the recovery, and those who were not in but wanted to get in. When they saw some of those companies as low as they were in the crash, we didn't know for sure when the market was going to turn around. We say this all the time. I don't need to know the future to make money in the stock market. That's not what trading is. It's never guessing, gambling, or going for it. But we were helping folks last spring manage positions in the stock market. And again, theoretically, we're up 51% from those lows. So tell me that that is not an incredible opportunity to put your money to work. You know how the wealthy think about money? If our money isn't sown somewhere, if our money's not working for us in some way, it's being wasted. It's being wasted. Money is a tool. Money is a resource. Money is a seed. You use money to make money. We use money to make money. And think about this now. While the world was shut down, markets have been zooming. I lived in California. I now relocated to Texas. I mentioned to a friend of mine earlier today, Texas, at least where I'm at, everything is open. Mask mandates are over. We may have varying opinions on that, but the reality is that's where we're at here. Well, I also just moved from California, and they're still locked down. They've never been open. So there's differences wherever you are today, whatever the circumstance is where you're at, no matter what, the markets have been open the entire time. No matter what uncertainty, no matter what challenge, what changed, what didn't change, the markets have been open. Businesses shut, jobs in question, whatever the case might be. The stock market has been there. So not only has it been exploding, but it's been operational. It's been accessible to you and I. And it is the economic opportunity of the season for that reason. That's number one. Why should you seriously consider trading right now? I'm going to look at some of the comments. Amazing how GameStop shenanigans got so many people interested in trading. It's true. How many indexes are there, Mario says? They usually only mention 3 in the news. The truth is there can be a lot more than just 3, but you mentioned 3 because there are the 3 major indexes. The S&P 500, which I've mentioned, the Nasdaq, which I said are primarily focused on tech stocks, and then the Dow Jones, which is an industrial based index. The Dow Jones, the 30 stocks are in the Dow Jones. There are other indexes to track certain things, but those are the majors. Okay, those are the major indexes. And the Dow Jones, I didn't talk about the Dow Jones. The Dow Jones has been exploding, especially in the last few weeks. There's been quite a bit of activity because, as we've talked about on previous broadcasts, if you've been here with me, you've heard me talk about this. There is some rotation happening in the stock market. For those who understand what's happening, there's no cause for fear. It's the fact that tech stocks are coming somewhat out of favor for other kinds of stocks. some of them, many of them in that Dow Jones index. So you're seeing some rebalancing happen in the market, and the effects that is having on the overall market and these indexes is something that I've detailed in previous weeks. But I want you to understand that this is a huge opportunity. This is not normal. Okay, now markets have risen and fallen before. That is normal. I've talked about that before. But these major price movements, coupled with the other two things that I am going to talk about today, make right now an incredibly unique season for trading. Number two, you say, okay, great, Blair. But that, I think, is more for big money. I think that's for Wall Street. I think that's for other people. And though we may not say it this way specifically, in one way or the other, we can disqualify ourselves and say it doesn't apply to me. Well, I would ask, well, why not? Why doesn't investing and trading in the stock market apply to you? Why can't it? Why can't that apply to you? You might say, I don't have the knowledge. I don't have the know-how. I don't have the capital. I don't know where to start. We're going to come back to those in just a minute. But I'm going to tell you, reason number two, that right now is the right time for anybody, even if you think that those things are bigger problems than you have access to solutions. Because if you think your problem's bigger than the solutions you have access to, then the problem will always stop you. If you understand that the solutions you have access to are greater than the problems facing you, then you will always advance. This is why there's such a battle over truth. This is why there's such a battle over information. If you understand that you have more solutions than problems, then you can move forward. And I want to present those solutions to you and show you that they are bigger than the issues you might have. Let me tell you this. This is reason number two. Right now, there are two things I could present to you getting into trading, right? Learning to trade, that I think you would be very glad to hear. Certainly, as I was writing some notes for today, I thought, well, geez, those are the things I would want to hear too. Well, what are they? Well, this opportunity I talked about in point one is right now, okay, to have access to the tools that you are going to need, to have understanding of those tools, to have confidence, to have a skill set tomorrow that you maybe didn't have today. All of that is two things right now more than it's ever been. And you're going to be happy to hear, number one, is it's cheaper than it's ever been. It's cheaper than it's ever been. And it's easier to access than it's ever been. You say cheaper and easier. Sounds good to me. Is it true? I'm going to tell you. Let's get into the practicals. And I've talked about some of this before. Let's get into the practicals. I said the tools that you're going to need. Broker fees, right? Somebody's going to execute trades for you, no matter what, right? You may have done this with a broker before. You've done it with your bank. Brokerage fees. You're going to have to pay brokerage fees. Minimum balances. You're going to open a trading account. I get asked this question all the time. How much money do I need to put in a trading account? Maybe I got $10,000. Maybe I've got 300, right? You can start at any point on that spectrum, lower or higher. Why? Minimum balances, zero in most cases now. That was not the case just a short time ago, okay? Transaction charges, like I mentioned, you're going to have those brokerage fees. That is now in many cases close to or at zero. That was not true just a short time ago as well. So wait a second now. You're telling me I can have access to charting software, which I didn't mention. You're going to need some kind of charting software. I've shown you that on this broadcast before. I'm giving you the basics on how to have an at-home trading business. That's what this is. It's an at-home trading business. You need some tools. You don't need a lot, but you need a few. No minimum balance, brokerage fees at or close to zero. Charting software, same thing. Also not true just a short time ago. That means that the tools you need are cheaper than they've ever been. Education. You can go out on YouTube. You're doing this right now. You're getting quality education from us here at Tradeway, okay? But when you really want to do this, when you really want to learn how to do it, you need to get some mentorship into your life. There's a lot of information out there, and it's fractured and it's incomplete and it's pieces and it's not personal. But even that, what we teach you at Tradeway, we're on this call right now, right? It's outdated to even call it a call, really, right? We're just joining each other live. And this was available before the shutdowns, but it certainly has come front and center. If you look at Zoom, for example, look at Zoom's stock, you'll see it's come front and center. You and I have access to one another and the ability to do process and teaching with one another, mentorship with one another, easier than ever before. Accessing the markets in your at-home business, easier than ever before. I don't have my phone on me right now, but normally I'd hold my phone up and say, I can do everything from this guy right here. And that's the truth. So in that sense, very real and practical, it is easier and cheaper than it's ever been. And because of this access here, we also at Tradeway offer many of our services their competitive rates that we've never offered before. It's just changed everything about you having access to this opportunity and having what you need to navigate that journey. In my very first Market Monday, for those of you who've been around the whole time, you'll remember last year I talked about why do so many traders wash out in the first year? They do get the courage to try, but they don't have the skill set to succeed. And eventually they just quit. I'm here to help you know that you can get in, that you can do this, but also to make sure that you have what you need along the way, to have what you need in the journey as well. And the access to that, both practically and financially, is a lower barrier to entry than it's ever been, okay? Technology and innovation have just really changed everything. Now, I said there was going to be 3. I'm going to check my comments here. Okay, we're good. I said there were 3, and I've mentioned this particular fact multiple times on these broadcasts before, and I want to bring this up, and I want to show you something here that, in fact, let me see if I've brought this up. Okay, good. Perfect. Okay. I want to show you guys something very specific. Mario says, trading is now within reach to so many for so little. And for some of us, we just don't know what it is, right? We just didn't know it was there. And I'm going to talk about that more. Aha, Jeffrey, I thought you were there. He said, I was there for your very first Market Monday. It's been a good year. I mean, we've covered a lot of ground here, haven't we, Jeffrey? If you know anybody out there who's not joining, hasn't been joining, go ahead, tag their name in the comments right now. Let them know. Let them know, especially on Facebook. I think it works. I don't know if it works on YouTube to do it that way. But let them know so they can join us as well. Because we've really covered a lot of ground. So let me say this. Number 3, okay? Record numbers of other folks, other people, Americans are realizing that it is possible to do this because of the first 2 reasons. Because there is an incredible opportunity. The growth in the markets is staggering. But they also realize that access to the markets is like it's never been before. And they are making that jump. Okay? They are also doing it in numbers they've never done before. So there are many people, you may feel this tonight. You may feel how I felt, and I talked about this 2 weeks ago, multiple days in the Faith and Finance Challenge I did. I did a free 5-day Faith and Finance Challenge 2 weeks ago. And I mentioned multiple times as I interviewed 5 of our Tradeway coaches, I didn't know anything coming into this. I mentioned I'd come back to this already. Blair, I don't think this is for me. I don't think I can do this because I don't have the education. I don't have the math. I don't know what the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq are. The list can go on. And we disqualify ourselves based on those challenges. But I said, what if I can show you a greater solution to those challenges than the challenges themselves? And a lot of people out there are saying, okay, I'm going to do that. Now, I want to show you this. I saw this today. I wonder if it maybe isn't going to let me show you guys here. I'm going to try something here. I found an article in the Financial Times. I want you guys to see this picture. It's actually amazing. But I don't think it's going to show it to me. Let's see if I can do this. If everybody out there just give me 1 second, we'll see if I can pull this off. Right here. Boom. There it is. All right, let me see if I can share this with you guys. Let me see if I can do this. Doesn't look like I can. Okay, I'm going to describe this real quick, okay? Here's where I'm going with this. I found an updated photo today, okay? It's fascinating. I may actually just go ahead and post it to the Facebook page if I can once this is over for those of you that are interested in seeing it. But basically, it's just this. It's a graph, okay? And there is lines plotted on this graph. And it tells us the overall share of trading volume that comes from different groups. So, for example, we talk on here about the big boys all the time. Okay, we're talking about retail traders moving into the markets. So they are taking advantage of this opportunity. And more people than ever before are saying, there's enough accessible to me now to do something that I couldn't do or didn't think I could do before. And I do want to press this because I want you to understand that there are some things working for you and me as a retail trader. And that's what Wall Street calls us, retail traders. That wasn't working for us before, okay? There is a huge opportunity. Sometimes I liken it, it's like oil under the ground. But what good is oil in the ground, even if you know it's there, if you don't have what's necessary to drill down and get to it? Well, what I'm telling you is what's available to us now makes drilling down easier and more accessible than it's ever been. And this graph, which I'd love to show you, but I can't pull it up for some reason right now on our software here, it says that retail, okay, retail is now significantly higher. Okay, every day that happens in the market, they hold the second highest level of trading volume. So of all the shares traded, the only group that trades more than retail traders in terms of shares traded is high frequency, what we call market makers. High frequency trading. Okay? They're way, 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 way up there. Okay? But as I look at this right in front of me, retail is way above the next one, which is hedge funds. And below that, hedge funds, quantitative hedge funds is kind of a fancy way that they do it. Other hedge funds, mutual funds, way below. Retail banking, investment banking, way down. So what does this mean for a second? It means that investment banking and hedge funds combined are now only matching the amount of shares of retail traders like you and me, which is why something like GameStop could even happen. So listen, the markets are changing dramatically because folks at home, and it's no wonder in the lockdowns, are going, hey, I'm looking for other opportunities. What's out there? And they are discovering at an ever increasing rate that this is something that can be done. This is something that can be done. And they're creating somewhat controversial and somewhat exciting opportunities out in the market. But you have to ask yourself this question. I like to say this phrase. As I mentioned, I don't know enough math. I don't know all these different things that we tell ourselves of why we can't do this, why we can't do something. I've been thinking about this phrase today, and I think it's important for us to look at here for a second. And those of you who are in the Insiders Plus program, the Insiders Plus program, you'll see that I've written on this in the past. Think about this phrase for a second. Possibility is the boundary line of expectation. Possibility is the boundary line of expectation. You can apply this to any area of your life. Okay, what does that mean? Well, Henry Ford said it this way: whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Possibility is the boundary line of expectation. If something to me is not possible, right here, whether it really is or really isn't, is irrelevant, at least initially. If it's not possible here, I will have no expectation that the fruit of that can come into my life. Why? Because I said it's impossible. If I don't think it can work for me, I'm not going to engage it. I'm not going to think that way. I have set a boundary line, and only what falls within that boundary line is available to me. And so I challenge people all the time, make sure your definition of what is possible is something that you bring before the Lord all the time, something you examine all the time. Because I can't afford to have a thought in my mind that's not in His. Possibility is the boundary line of expectation. When the Word of God expands, I'm using this picture because I think this is something a lot of us can relate to. When that expands, right? Expectation expands. What is possible expands. I begin to expect more. Now, that's not to say that it's some kind of law of attraction. I'm not saying that. But I am saying that it engages planning. It engages risk. It engages action. It engages partnership. It engages expectation. It engages investment. All kinds of things in our lives start firing off in the areas where we have an expectation. I'm willing to take a risk. I'm willing to pay a price. Why? Because now there's expectation. But as soon as impossibility sets a boundary closer than the thing I'd like to get out of it, there's no way I'll ever do anything, pay a price, invest on any level to go after whatever that is. There's a boundary there. And I am saying this to you today. Why set a boundary around yourself that literally millions of other Americans, I've said this many times, last year, record numbers of people coming into opening brokerage accounts. Why them and not you? Why them and not you? This is why right now is the best time. Now, I got more reasons. I haven't gone exhaustive here. I want to say this really quick. The market has done what it's done in the past now. What's past is past. What's coming is coming. We don't know what's coming. You say, well, Blair, isn't maybe the market you mentioned a little bit overextended, maybe a little bit hot, maybe I missed it. The market is just going to move like the weather. It's just going to move in cycles. The question is, do you want to use this time? And this is for me too, because I'm always growing and learning too. Do I want to use this time to be ready for the next season? Do I want to be ready for the next season? So it is a good time. The opportunity is there. The access is there. The only thing missing is belief. The only thing missing is belief. And if you're already, I mentioned this at the top, if you're already trading, listen, I want to fire you up so that you understand what you're in the middle of, that you get a fresh motivation. I can't quote it exactly. I think it was Zig Ziglar who said, motivation is like a shower. I recommend doing it every day. It wears off. I recommend doing it every day. You got to get motivated. You got to get clarified. You got to get empowered. You got to understand what you're fighting for. You got to understand what you're in the middle of. So I hope I'm encouraging you guys as well. I got lots of questions here. Patricia says, hey, yes, shared a Tradeway spring boot camp post the other day. Education is amazing at Tradeway. Yeah, we're doing a boot camp, another boot camp coming up. We'll have more information about that in the next few weeks for sure. Some of you guys just hanging out. What is the title of the article in the Financial Times? Yes, that's a great way to approach that. It's called Rise of the Retail Army. The amateur traders, that's retail, right? Same thing as what they're getting at there. The amateur traders transforming the markets. I'll give you this sub-headline. This is just interesting. Once dismissed as a quirky sideshow, that's you and me, the growth of retail trading is forcing mainstream investors to take note. And you'll just draw your attention to, they've got a picture right at the top that I think is very, very interesting. So I love that. And you guys can check that out. In fact, you know what? I can just do this. Pop the comments in, or popped it in the comments there for you guys. You can check out that picture. So isn't that easy to do? Why do they call us retail traders? Would the big boys be wholesale traders? Hey, that's a logical thought. That makes sense. You know, I'm going to be honest at first here and just say, I don't know why or where exactly, you know, the inception of retail in that title came from. I mean, ultimately it's not institutional, right? It's customers like you and I signing up, you know, back in the old days for E-Trade or some of these older Schwab and some of those things. Some of them are still around for sure. But those are a little bit more of the old school. And so I think they've just given it the title based on that. Would the big boys be wholesale traders? Certainly large volume traders, which is what's so remarkable about this post that I just posted there for you guys. To see that retail traders have over time, this has not been this way for very long. Okay. That's part of what I'm saying. The influx is extreme. A lot of people are coming in. Okay. Are retail traders leaving a visible footprint on the charts like big boys do? Yes, they are. That's part of what's so extraordinary about it. They are leaving a footprint on those charts. I mean, in some cases, they're not just leaving a footprint. They're leaving a boot print. I mean, it's pretty big. We can just go to the spectacular examples and look at some of the Wall Street bets, right? That's a very obvious example of what this looks like. Of course, it's not always that extreme, okay? But that certainly is an example of it, and they are definitely changing the markets. Patricia says, no other trading system like what Tradeway offers from beginner to advanced. And I'll just highlight, this is what I'm saying. It's about, I've said this for years now. And if you've been around long enough, you've heard me say it. Nobody out there gets people trading started in the markets, confident, competent traders like Tradeway. Nobody. Jeffrey, yes. Awesome. Love the comments. So that is three. It's not exhaustive, but why should you consider seriously trading right now, or why you should seriously consider trading right now? Because it is a really special thing right now. It's a really special opportunity. It really is. Okay, that said, also, I've mentioned this for the last few weeks. Once we jump off the broadcast here, you'll see I post a little comment down there. We are going to do a free training. You can join us. It is called The Truth Will Set You Free. It's with Mr. David Mitchell, our founder and CEO. He's never taught this online before. So he's going to do a free training of The Truth Will Set You Free. I'll pop that in the comments. Like I said, our goal here is to equip and train you, help you understand your finances in relations to the markets, get you to a place where you feel confident, How many know being confident without being competent is not ultimately going to help you? Okay. And I don't know how competent you can be in trading if you are not confident. Some of you out there know what I mean. So we want to get you both. And that is what we aim to do at Tradeway. So we'll take another step together on that free training and plant that into your lives and homes. Hopefully, you will be able to join us for that as well. There will be a link posted as soon as I jump off of here. If anybody out there can think of somebody, hey, I think my friend, my brother, my uncle, my aunt, my sister needs to hear this as well, go ahead and tag them in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe if you're with us on YouTube. You just simply click the bell, click subscribe. If you're on Facebook, if you like our page, we will notify you anytime we are going to go live. That way you don't miss anything. Of course, you can always come back and watch the recordings. In closing, why right now is a great time to trade? Because this industry has never been zooming like it is. It's never been faster. It's never been cheaper. You've never had more help at your fingertips to help you get to the place where you want to go. You've certainly seen it here, seen it in the comments. Check out that article. Comment when we get off here. Let me know if you have any other questions or what you think about that. I was happy to be on here with you. As always, I'm going to be back on Thursday for our Thursday stock talk. We're going to look at another stock this week. We're looking at hot or not. So you got to tune in on Thursday because I'm going to cover one area, one stock, one company in the market. And we're going to look. Some other people are saying it's hot. Some other people are saying it's not. Well, what do we need to know? And I'm going to tell you whether or not I think it's hot or not. And that's where we're going to land on Thursday. Tip Tuesday coming up tomorrow. I think you're going to have Mr. Dave Huber. So we got stuff going on every day, man. We got stuff coming out every single day right here for you. So make sure you like and subscribe. Join us. Don't miss anything. This is good stuff. And I will see you guys next time. Thanks so much for being on. Good night.